Hey guys, welcome to another interesting segment on Home Truth Nigeria. So today we will be continuing on our series categories of women who should date Nigerian men with caution. And from the last video, I said I was going to talk on women who cannot have kids. Now there are lovely women all over the world who are dating Nigerian men, and these women cannot have kids. Now if you meet 10 women overseas dating Nigerian men, you discover that about five or four of them out of 10 cannot give this Nigerian man kid. Now, these women cannot have kids for reasons such as, maybe they're out of the age of having kids. In menopause, women in their 50s, upward 60s, they can have kids again biologically. Medical risks, there are women who doctors have told them, like, okay, your next pregnancy could be medical risk, so they don't want to get pregnant, so they don't put themselves harm. And then you have women who are not interested to have kids because maybe they've had like four, five, three kids and they don't want to raise any more kids. And the truth is, these women, from the sincere standpoint, basically tell the Nigerian men they're dating these conditions like, look, I cannot have kids because of this and this reasons. And if you're interested in me, you're not interested. I mean, I just want you to know that I cannot have kids. And I know this because I know these ladies actually tell these guys the truth. But on hindsight, these guys come back to this lady and, tell this lady that, look, don't worry. Uh, if you can't have kids biologically, we would explore other methods. And other methods, they look at like adoption. We can adopt and raise these children like our own. Or they could try things like IVF or look for a surrogate mother. Or some will come and say, if you cannot have a child, no problem. Now, they tell these ladies these things, and then these ladies get excited and they are already fully set to go into the relationship because for them, they have a deal. This guy has accepted them based on their true situation with life. However, what some of these ladies do not know that having children in the Nigerian culture is very important because most Nigerian men, and when I say most, I'm talking of 99.9. I've not met a Nigerian all my life who doesn't want to have kids, their own biological kids. It's very important. And this is what a lot of these guys don't tell you, ladies. They do not tell you that an average Nigerian man want to have his own biological kids. And you may ask, why is it important for Nigerian men to have kids? Well, the truth is, one, cultural significance. Many Nigerian men, they desire to have children as a way to carry on their family's heritage and pass down cultural values to the future generation. You also have practical reasons. In the olden days, there used to be a situation whereby the larger the family, the more assist you get in farming. And this farming also ensures economic stability, what they call subsistence economics or so. Nowadays, children can also be investments. In Africa, we don't have a system that protects you when you're retired. So a lot of people are being fed. A lot of old Nigerian parents are being fed by their children. You say a Nigerian family, say, oh, you don't have money, talk to your children so they take care of you. So these are other reasons. Another reason is the personal fulfillment. Now, for some men, it's just the personal fulfillment and the desire to prove that they are fertile. They just want to show that they are man enough to have kids. So all of these are reasons why an average Nigerian man want to have a child. Now, I know some of you may disagree and say, no, 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 I don't agree to this. This is 2024. There are Nigerian men who are okay and don't want to have kids. I totally understand you, but I would like us to just look at some threads from a lady who asks a question. Would a Nigerian man knowing his wife uh couldn't have would a Nigerian man marry knowing his wife couldn't have children? A foreign lady has asked this, and a Nigerian man replied. He said it is less likely, and in most cases where this scenario plays out, this is usually an ulterior motive behind it. Perhaps the woman is from a wealthy family, or there's a sort of compulsion somewhere. Getting married and not having a child or children is a big issue here. In Nigeria, much of the worries don't often come from the couples, but the in laws. Although unwarranted, the victimization and insults childless couples face are better imagined than experienced. So, if someone knows their soon to be wife will be incapable of producing the fruit of the womb, I can almost conclude that the probability that they would back off is close to one. So, this is what someone said. Now, a lady also backtracked and asked, "What if the man, for whatever reason, the man is infertile?" And this Nigerian man said, "The situation is most likely the same. If a woman knows that her to-be husband is infertile, she isn't likely to get on board. The possible exceptions to this are she's been previously married and had kids from the marriage. She's been deeply attracted to the man's wealth or fame. She's given up on herself that no one else could marry her. She's 45 plus years old. That's she's hit menopause. It is good I remind you that this is not how I think marriage should be. However, since your interest is about Nigeria, this is what will most likely play out. Not having a child is a big deal in this part of the world. And for the women, and for the woman, she's going to be the first suspected as having problem before science can exonerate her." Another person said, "Most Nigerian men would cheat on you or leave you for another woman that want kids. It's a must for most Nigerian men or guys to have kids. If you're fertile, you don't have a choice unless you want your man to leave you." Now, the question is, if you find yourself in a situation where you are unable to have kids for a Nigerian man and you're interested in dating Nigerian men, as always, I've always advised you, ladies, go for Nigerian men who are single fathers, single parents. Go for the man who has kids so that tomorrow you're not under pressure to conceive or to have kids. Go for the one who is not going to push you and start fighting you. Comes to you tomorrow like, "Okay, yes, I know 5 years ago I told you I wasn't interested in having kids, but now the pressure is so much on me. Everyone is pushing me, telling me to have kids. Everyone is on my neck. I'm so confused." And this would bring fight because you've broken the deal. I told you before we walked further into this relationship and we got married, and you said it wasn't any problem. At the end of the day, if you can't give the guy what he wants, he will stand up and leave you. In fact, let us listen or watch or read true life stories that happened. You know, a lady was writing story. She said at one point, Yetunde's mother-in-law brought a young woman into their home and bluntly told Yetunde's husband, John, that this woman would bear him a child. Yetunde and John left the country, but they still get calls from relatives asking whether Yetunde is pregnant yet. In some people's eyes, a wife that does not bear children is neither a real wife or a proper woman. They traveled because of the pressure, but they were still calling them, asking them if they have or the lady was actually pregnant. Yetunde was lucky to have the support of John, that's the husband. It is quite common for husbands to turn away from their wives. Grace, an infertile Nigerian, paid dearly. Her husband, Olumide, made another woman pregnant. Grace learned of the affair when a friend told her about the baby's naming ceremony. Grace fainted from shock and her blood pressure shot up to a dangerous level. And she didn't make it a few days later. Now, it says in some part of Nigeria, Africa, a marriage is conditional upon producing a child. In Nigeria, some men insist that the bride be pregnant before the marriage. This is particularly common among the Yoruba community. Tunde Itiola, for example, felt let down when he married and then his wife did not conceive. Tunde said, "I should have made sure that she gets pregnant before the marriage." This was what Tunde said. So, women who give birth but then lose the child are not spared from the stigma. An example was Chinwe, married to Tochuku, had a daughter late in life. The daughter died when the couple were already 50. Despite their age, the pair is considering in vitro fertilization in the hope of conceiving again. To them, the risks of late pregnancy took less onerous than bearing the stigma of infertility. So, guys, You can see these are true stories, and it highlights the importance of having children or kids in Nigeria, most especially for Nigerian men. And that is why if you have kids and you cannot have kids anymore, or you have medical reasons why you can't have kids, or you in menopause, you're out of the age of having kids, or you are with a Nigerian man who is way younger than you, who hasn't had kids, and you're thinking of, other means like surrogacy, IVF, in vitro fertilization, as the case may be, I will advise you, and you with a Nigerian man who hasn't had kids, I would advise you, be careful. At best, stay away from that man, because a time will come when he will want kids, and he may not tell you until he gets what he wants. It could be his green card, it could be his permanent resident permit. Until then, he's on probation. He'll just be watching you, nodding to everything. Once he gets that thing he wants, he would move and go start his own family, with or without you, in secret or openly. So if you're listening to me and you're attentive to all I'm saying, then I'll tell you this: go for Nigerian men who have kids. So you do not have to bother about him telling you in future he wants to have more kids. Go for the ones who are parents already, who the one who is a dad. So I'm not making this video to make you feel bad, but I'm kind of like warning you of a potential danger that may come if you do not adhere to what I'm saying. It could come. There are a lot of women who've experienced this and they are regretting it. So, guys, for the next video, I'll be talking on the career women or educated women, and how cautious they should be when dating Nigerian men. So, please, as always, like, share, subscribe. Home Truth Nigeria. Peace out.